Mr. Newland, as I mentioned in our call and just in my opening here, just the differences that we have in Alaska when it comes to Alaska Native governance and representation, and the distinction with our ANCs that were created through ANCSA. So we learned very clearly, I think, after the passage of the CARES Act and the Treasury's actions to disperse the funds under the tribal set-aside, it became clear to us in Alaska that the structure when it comes to Alaska Native governance is just not as well understood as we believe it is. It's been around now for 40 years, and we think that others understand it, but because it is so unique to Alaska, I think it is an ongoing education issue. We saw that play out. We're now awaiting the decision by the Supreme Court in the Chehalis litigation, but I just need to know that you are aware of how important it is that ANCs are included in the ISDIA definition of Indian tribe, which is referenced in hundreds of other statutes. I'm also needing to reinforce and make sure that you are aware of how important it is that ANCs serve as the recognized governing body of an Indian tribe under ISDIA and DOI guidelines, sometimes only in limited circumstances. But I know that you have been looking further into this in not only preparation for this hearing, but just in the role that you have been nominated to. So again, if you can just affirm to me that you do understand the importance of what I have just laid down, and if you can share with me what you are doing to educate yourself now on ANCSA and ANILCA and Alaska's unique structure that serves tribal communities, and making sure that not only for yourself, but for others in your office, that you will commit to the ANCSA and the ANILCA trainings that are provided if you are confirmed.
Thank you, Vice Chair Murkowski. I appreciate your comments. And first, I would share your assessment that there's a lot of educating that needs to be done on the unique structure of Indian law in Alaska. And I will acknowledge that I am working to educate myself on those laws as well. And I have been working diligently since I arrived at the department to work with the experts within the department to understand ANCSA and ANILCA and also the other unique ways that other laws interact with those statutes. And I am also looking forward to having the opportunity to getting on the ground in your state and working with leaders and visiting communities and understanding and hearing directly from them. I believe there's no substitute for that. Which is all a long-winded preface, I know, to respond to your question, which is that I am committed to better understanding and to carrying out my responsibility to the 229 federally recognized tribes in Alaska, as well as the corporations there, and am eager to work with you and your team and folks across Alaska.
Well, I thank you for that. I think you have been made aware that because of some of the comments that were made last year, comments that were very critical of ANCs in the context of the CARES implementation, including comments that you have made, that the temperature on this got pretty hot there for a while. So I think it's going to be important to not only lower that temperature, but for you in this position to really set that tone as an ambassador and as an advocate for all of Indian country and Native people. Very quickly, because my time is just about expired here, but Alaska is Appeal 280 state. We have been working over the years to piece together different grants and programs to support our public safety systems. And we have been able to direct funding to Alaska for our tribal courts, even though we are a PL 280 state. So your position on using BIA funding for tribal courts in PL 280 states like Alaska, recognizing your significant experience with the tribal court system.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Consistent with what you've just laid out under the President's rescue plan that Congress enacted, we worked toward that end with leaders across Alaska Native communities to make sure that even that our law enforcement funding that came down through the Department of the Interior acknowledged the unique challenges that tribes in Public Law 280 states faced, so that we made sure that they were not excluded from public safety funding under the rescue plan. And I think that's important as you've laid out, and I look forward to working on it if confirmed.